Welcome back to the sheet metal tutorial. This is a continuation of the first one I did earlier. And for the third method, I'm going to start from scratch. But before that, I actually have a couple things I meant to mention before. So one of the reasons I was talking about using the hole tool rather than just sketching it in, is that once you do that, you have a whole table available directly in your model, and it cross highlights. So obviously in this case it's quite simple, but if you had multiple hole sizes, it's a really nice way to audit your part at the end to make sure you've got the right size holes in the different places. Very convenient. And obviously if you just do an extruded round cut, it doesn't show up in here. So that's a very good reason to use the hole tool just in general as a best practice thing. Now for speed modeling, you don't necessarily do it unless it makes sense. But in general, when you're modeling parts, it's a really good way of doing it. Now here, the other quick tip is, let's say here I actually want to name it something similar. I want to name it method 3. I just create a new part studio rather than copy it. And one of the best places to do this, especially if you have multiple properties, you can go to workspace properties, and then from here you can easily navigate through the whole structure. In this case, I just want to grab the description and put it in here as number 3, and you can do that with all the parts. So whenever you have properties that you want to copy and paste, this is a really good way to do it across your document. And this is in the workspace properties that you can get to that. Because if you go, you can go to just the tab, but then you can't switch, you can't copy and paste between different tabs. So this is getting it from here, lets you just quickly go back and forth. Anyway, let's get going. So I'm going to start the same way, start a sketch, normal 2, and then I'm going to do a rectangle that's going to be 4.5 over 2 by 4. Then I'm going to go right into another rectangle. That one's 3.75 over 2 by 1. That's the one flange. And then another one, 1.5 by 2. And I'm actually going to create that circle in here. I notice 0.5 from here. I'm doing this not necessarily best practice, but I want to kind of take this to the limit. So I'm also going to add the fillets in here, just because I can, and because I thought it would be fun to do. Here we go. Now that's all I need for now, and I am going to extrude the whole thing. I guess that's fine, to 4 inches. And I'm actually going to do another extrude, this time of this region. I'm going to remove the other way, and I'm going to go 0.375, which is the indent at the bottom. Now this might look a little bit weird, but actually, why not just go through the whole process? I'm going to do a sketch here, circle, 2.5 diameter, 2 inches from the top. Oops. Dimension 2 inches from the top. And here, why not? Let's do a split. I'm going to split this face using this. And then I'm also going to do that angle, and here I'm going to do it in a slightly different way. One of my favorite tricks. I'm going to go straight into the split. I'm going to split this part, and I'm going to use a mate connector, and I will start with that's this point. Offset in Y by minus 0.375, and then rotate along X by 37 degrees. And then I'm going to uncheck keep both sides, and keep this. And might as well do the fillet here while I'm at it, which is a 1-inch fillet. So now this is a very good way in Onshape to create sheet metal parts, and it does take some getting used to, but the beauty of it is it's more of a layout approach. Actually, I don't want the face of the sketch. That's one thing you have to be careful with, is make sure you pick the right thing. And then select what you want to bend, which are going to be these. And I guess the last thing is actually want the thickness to be inside. And basically, I can do this. And now the thicken option does not delete the part, so I can blow it away after. And now I've got my part just like that. And once you get used to the idea of creating a 3D layout of your part, this is a really robust way of creating sheet metal parts. Now, of course, I could have done the holes and the fillets afterwards, but I really like this workflow because it is very quick, and that is how I got the answer quickly last time. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. So these were kind of the 3 different methods that you can use to create this part, with this one being, in my opinion, by far the quickest and most robust way of doing it. And I've used it in design too, just for a bracket that needs to go between 2 things that you already know are there. It's a very nice way to create the skeleton, basically, and then you create the function in the shape of the solid, and then you create a sheet metal part at the end that basically follows that, and it's a very effective way of designing. So I encourage you to practice doing it this way, and if you're anything like me, you'll find that you might actually really like it. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope that was helpful, and see you next time.